The child sees what adults have trained themselves not to see. Her honesty doesn't just help one man, it quietly exposes the cost of collective silence. The receptionist's voice was polite enough. That was almost the worst part. "Sir, I'm sorry, but without a valid insurance verification, we simply cannot process your visit today. You'll need to call your provider and reschedule." The old man didn't argue. He didn't raise his voice. He just nodded slowly, carefully, the way a person nods when they've decided that their dignity is worth more than a fight. They probably won't win anyway. He reached down, picked up his worn canvas bag, and began folding his appointment reminder into quarters, then eighths, pressing each crease flat with his thumb, as if keeping his hands busy was the only thing holding the rest of him together. His name was Walter Grimes. He was 77 years old. He had driven 34 minutes in light rain to make a 10:15 appointment for a follow-up on a heart medication. His cardiologist had changed 3 weeks prior. He had confirmed the appointment by phone the day before. He had arrived 11 minutes early, and now he was being asked to leave. The waiting room at the Lakeview Family Medical Clinic held about 16 people that Tuesday morning. A young couple with a toddler, 2 middle-aged women sitting separately, each studying their phones. A man in a contractor's jacket filling out paperwork. An older woman, a grandmother, it was clear, from the way she kept tucking in the collar of the little girl. Beside her, seated near the window. No one looked up when the receptionist turned Walter away. Not really. The young couple glanced over briefly, then back to their child. The contractor shifted in his seat. Everyone else remained still, doing the quiet math that people do in moments like this. Not my business. Not my place. There's probably more to it. Walter thanked the receptionist. He actually thanked her. Then he turned and walked back toward the row of chairs to collect his jacket. That's when the little girl spoke. Her name was Maya. She was 8 years old. She had been watching Walter from the moment he walked up to the desk, not out of nosiness, but with the focused, patient attention that some children have before the world teaches them to look away. She had watched his hands on that appointment paper. She had watched the receptionist's expression, pleasant, practiced, final. She had watched the room not move. She tugged her grandmother's sleeve. "Grandma," she whispered, "that man did everything right. Why is he being sent away?" Her grandmother glanced toward the desk, then back at Maya. "Sometimes these things are complicated, sweetheart. Insurance rules. But he had an appointment." Maya said it simply. The way children state facts they haven't yet learned to soften. "He was here before us. He was here before almost everyone." Her grandmother put a hand on her knee. "I know, but it's not really our—" Maya was already standing. She walked to the desk with the calm, unhurried movement of someone who had made a decision and wasn't second-guessing it. She was small enough that the receptionist, a woman in her late 30s named Deborah, with a headset and a stack of clipboards, didn't notice her right away. "Excuse me," Maya said. Deborah looked down. "Oh, honey, are you okay? Do you need something? I wanted to ask about that man." Maya pointed gently toward Walter, who had paused near the chairs, jacket in hand, watching. "He came in before almost everyone here. And I heard you say the problem was his insurance didn't verify. But he had an appointment paper. I saw it." She paused. Did someone check whether the mistake was his? Or whether it was a mistake on this side? The waiting room, without quite meaning to, went silent. Deborah blinked. She opened her mouth, then closed it. The question was so precise, so calm, so entirely without accusation, that it didn't give her anything to push back against. It just sat there, waiting to be answered. She started. "The system shows the verification failed." "But who sent the verification request?" Maya asked. "Was it him or the clinic?" Behind the desk, a second staff member, a young man named Paul, who handled the clinic's insurance coordination, had stopped typing. He pulled up Walter's file. He scrolled back through the activity log with the quiet focus of someone who already suspected what he was about to find. It took him less than 90 seconds. 6 weeks earlier, the clinic had sent Walter's insurance pre-verification to an outdated provider portal. A system error following a software update. The request had never gone through. Walter had never been notified. There was a flag on the account from 5 weeks ago noting the discrepancy. It had simply never been acted on. Walter Grimes had done everything correctly. Every single thing. Paul stood up. "Deborah." His voice was steady and quiet. "The error originated on our end. His coverage is active. We can see him." No one in the waiting room made a sound. Walter stood still for a moment, his jacket held against his chest. Something moved across his face. Not triumph, nothing like that. Just the particular relief of a man who had almost accepted something unfair and had been spared from having to. He looked at Maya. She was already walking back to her grandmother, entirely matter of fact. as if she had simply asked a reasonable question and received a reasonable answer. And that was the natural order of things. Walter stopped beside her chair. He waited until she sat down and looked up at him. "Young lady," he said, "I've been a school teacher for 41 years. I've seen a lot of students." He paused. "You're something." Maya considered this with great seriousness. "It just didn't seem fair," she said. "No," Walter agreed. "It wasn't." He smiled, the full kind, the kind that reaches the eyes, and walked through the door to the exam room. Maya's grandmother didn't say anything for a long time. She just put her arm around her granddaughter and held her a little closer than she had before. Outside, the morning rain had stopped. Light was coming through the waiting room window in long, quiet angles, the way it does after weather clears, ordinary and clean and completely indifferent to the small, important thing that had just happened inside. Nobody in that room had stood up. Nobody had spoken, except one 8-year-old girl, who hadn't yet learned that noticing something wrong and staying quiet about it were supposed to be the same thing. She hadn't saved the world. She'd just refused to let one man leave without someone saying, "This isn't right." Sometimes that's everything. Maya didn't think of herself as brave that day. She just thought of herself as someone who had noticed and decided that noticing was enough reason to speak. And if that story stayed with you, the next one will too, because sometimes the person who changes everything isn't the one anyone expected, and they don't always wait to be asked.